welcome to Verified Therapists. We are trying this on our normal recording platform, so hopefully it doesn't mess up.
And if it does, so help us, somebody, because that might be it for us.
Yeah, we shall see, though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, today is going to be another day where we are just yapping about Taylor Swift. So if you don't like this kind of content, you should probably leave Verified Therapists.
Just all together.
Because we can't shut up about her. So, and this is like, for the next month, let's just keep talking about Taylor Swift because Tortured Poets Department, the tour starts back this upcoming week. So let's just get into it.
Yeah, and we're going to see like how she's about to put this new album in her tour. And I'm so excited to see it.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we've got clips. Like, she posted on YouTube Shorts a big sign, and it looks like it's got the Tortured Poets Department logo on it. So I'm assuming that she's put it in the show. And someone said, I saw someone's theory that she's going to put it in after Lover. So it's going to be the second one on the tour.
So do we think that she's going to ixnay one of the other eras off the show, or she's going to like cut down? Because I mean, it's already like a 3.5 hour long show.
It's like 3 hours and some change right now. And then she did say that it's going to be 3.5 hours.
So she's getting it up to 3.5 hours.
So I think she's getting it up to 3.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I'm assuming like Tortured Poets Department, because every set is different. I know Folklore is the longest. Folklore is like 30, 40 minutes. But I would assume that she's going to do Tortured Poets, and it'll probably be like 20 minutes.
I'm wondering if we'll still have surprise songs. Like if that sticks around.
I feel like we should. Like, why not?
I would sit there for 6 hours. I'd be like, we're just buckled in for the next 6 hours.
Yeah. Like, at that point, like, Taylor, just, like, perform to, like, the backtrack. You don't even have to sing. Like, we'll be fine. If, like, your voice can't handle that, we're fine. We know you can sing. It's good.
Yeah, it's fine.
Reputation. We're ready for you.
I'm trying not to like clown about it anymore because that like since Tortured Poets Department come out, I like feel bad for being like, give me more music. So I'm like just trying to simmer down and be like, you do you, Taylor, whatever you need to do.
You do you. You do you. But just know I am like ready for potential different outfits for Reputation, because this is the only era that we haven't gotten different outfits. So that's what I'm ready for. What if she pops up instead of the red, it's green? Or what if it's all black?
I'll probably be back to my clowning self that we're gonna get soon.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's what she's saving it for.
More than likely, yeah. Because it's just odd that that's the only outfit that has stayed the same this entire time.
But that's also the only one, I guess Speak Now was for a little bit, but the only like Taylor's version left other than Debut, but she doesn't perform Debut on the tour. So
it's true. Well, speaking of Speak Now, this is May 5th, and a year ago, I was at Era's tour, and we got the announcement of Speak Now Taylor's version.
Yep.
That was the surprise announcement, and I lost my voice before then, but yeah, it was even worse after that.
Do you remember when there was like a lot of speculation about it because like the bridge turned purple in Nashville and just like
no. I'm telling you, before Era's tour, like the week leading up, probably before then. Like, I didn't watch any spoilers, so I had no idea about the transition. I knew the outfits because I saw pictures, but I didn't know
Mhm.
the transitions of the songs. I didn't want to be like it wouldn't be ruined anyways because it's Taylor Swift. But like I didn't want to be spoiled about anything.
Yeah.
Because when I watched Reputation Stadium Tour, like
Uh-huh.
in person, the when a man talks shit, then I owe him nothing.
Mhm.
That like pause was ruined for
Yeah.
me by someone on the internet. So I was like,
Mhm.
I'm just gonna see every time I see a performance, I'm gonna scroll past it. So I was doing that.
That's good on you.
So I went in not blind because I knew a lot of it, but I went in like
Mhm.
almost blind
Yeah.
with it. My aunt went in completely blind. Like she was just sitting there like blown away.
Yeah.
But I went in with as little spoilers. And the week leading up, I did not look on Twitter
Mhm.
at all.
I was all about it. I was looking at, like, the bridge colors changing and all this stuff, and you know what? It's just, like, so fun that she does stuff like that in the city that she's
Yeah,
in.
that it is really cool. So
Mhm.
because I just didn't know anything. So like when she made that announcement, I was like, had me gagged. I was
You were
done
shocked.
for.
Yeah.
I was about to black out. I was like, I can't believe I'm at this concert and I get this.
Mhm.
So, and then we got the last performance of Invisible String too, the next
Uh-huh.
night. That was the last time she ever performed Invisible String. And she was not, she did it for Centennial Park because they dedicated a bench to her.
Right.
Um, but she was a little sassy singing it.
Yeah.
She was really sassy that night.
Yeah. Because I mean, I went 2 nights later, and we had the one, and she did the note change for the first time when I was there
I
on the one.
know.
Mhm. And I
Listen,
was like, "I'm gonna throw up."
I wish I had been at that one. I'm still upset that I like sold the ticket.
Girl, it was a rough one, but it was
It
good.
was. It would have been really rough. There would have been no way that I would have been able to work the next day. The whole parking situation, I would have had to buy a parking pass. I
Mhm.
probably would have been there by myself because no one else. And I don't think I could have done that like in the conditions that everything was in. I probably would have left because I wouldn't be able to handle that by
I
myself.
would have been like, "Just come where we are and just stand with us."
I feel so bad for the poor people that me and Courtney sold those tickets to.
Mhm.
Like that had to be in those conditions.
Listen, it was the trenches. The trenches. It was worth it. It was so worth it, and I would do it again, but preferably better conditions.
Better conditions,
But
please.
also, I'm just like, I was telling somebody this yesterday, I'm just like, I'm getting just really weary about this tour, and I'm like, is this
Mhm.
gonna be her last tour? Just because, like, we've been going for so long and it's so big, and it's
Yeah.
all this music, and she's in this relationship. We know she wants to get married. We know she wants to have kids. Like, I don't know. I don't know for sure, obviously, but like, I just feel like that she is probably about to just like take a pause and settle down a little bit. So I hope it's not her last tour, but what if it is?
I don't think it's her last tour. I think it's
Mhm.
her last whatever before she really like slows down. Like I really do think
Mhm.
that this is her being like, okay, now it's time for a pause. And I think that's why she's touring for 2 years,
Yeah,
which makes me really sad.
I know.
But I don't know. It makes me want to go to like Indianapolis or New Orleans. So we got to figure that
I'm
out.
trying to go to Indianapolis, and it's like the trenches to get tickets there too.
See, this is what maybe we should do this. So we should get a hotel room in Indianapolis
Mhm.
and we should just wait until before the concert
Mhm.
and then get the tickets in. Just like what I did with Olivia Rodrigo. So
Uh-huh.
like have an X amount of money saved up
Mhm.
so we can just be like, let's do it.
We could, and the we would need to the hotel rooms around Indianapolis right now are like thousands of dollars. They're sold out. And the ones that are left, they're like, people are going to be here for Taylor. So
I'm trying to think. Do I know anybody that lives in Indianapolis?
we could probably find an Airbnb, honestly.
We could.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe we should stop yapping and get into the highs and lows.
Yeah. What are your highs and lows for the week?
Well, I had like a really big low for the week.
Mm-hmm.
So, and since we're being honest about all of our mental health struggles, for the past few weeks, I've been noticing myself getting more and more down. And then something happened career wise and just made me feel really bad about the direction my career is going
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of like tipped me over the edge a little bit. And so I got
Mm-hmm.
like really depressed for a few days. And
Mm-hmm.
then that depression caused me to have an increase in anxiety and I started having panic attacks. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
Thursday I had 3 panic attacks. That night I slept really good,
Mm-hmm.
but I had like 3 panic attacks that day. It was
Mm-hmm.
not fun. Um, this whole week has not been fun. I think Tuesday was the day that I decided I was going to just see as little people as possible, rearrange my whole schedule,
Mm-hmm.
and just let myself have a day of focusing on me and doing as much self care as I could
Mm-hmm.
because I was not, probably until like 2 o'clock that day, I was not able to get out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
Just being real. Wasn't fun. I haven't been that depressed in probably since before I started taking Zoloft.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started taking like the dates on my bottles of Zoloft.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like checking the pills and everything because I've heard stories of like people getting medication and it being like expired medication or the
Mm-hmm.
wrong dosage or whatever. So I was like checking my medication to make sure that it was the right dosage
Yeah.
because I'd just gotten a new bottle and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, now I'm wondering if my medication is expired. And that's why I have been feeling this low over the
Yeah.
past few weeks. So, but
Well, and
there's also been a lot going on.
there's been a lot going on. And how long have you been taking it?
The new bottle of medication,
Just Zoloft in general.
this is Zoloft, 2021. Yeah. No, 2020.
Because, we get tolerant too.
Yeah. I was
So,
thinking that too. I was like, maybe I should go up a
mm-hmm.
dose.
But also you have a lot going on.
Yeah. So I don't want to like overwhelm my body if
Right.
it's
Right.
unnecessary. So just kind of get everything to slow down
Mm-hmm.
a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's just goes to show that we work in it and we see it every day, but we're human beings and we're just as much in it as our clients are sometimes.
Yeah. And like I also have the awareness of like when I feel like this, I know I'm not going to be a good therapist, so
Mm-hmm.
I should cancel my date
Mm-hmm.
and focus on me, which is
Yeah.
exactly what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we're like required to do. Like that's
Mhm.
a requirement that we have in our ethical code. So, and we're back.
Okay. We took a second because I was not doing well. So, but that's just the reality of this week for me. So,
Mm-hmm.
and we're therapists, mental health sucks sometimes, and mine sucks right now. So I had to take a second,
Yeah. That's just where
but
we
we're
are,
back
and that's
into it.
okay. Yeah.
We're good. We're good. Anyways, we'll go into my high. My high for the week is I'm about to close on a house. I'm like 2 days away
Mm-hmm.
from like signing the closing papers. So,
Woo!
very excited and get the keys to the new house.
Mm-hmm.
And then we start moving in, and I'm so excited.
That's awesome. I'm
It's gonna be
excited
great.
for you.
Yeah. I'm very excited, and I'm very excited to be close to where the road I have to take to get to work.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the most exciting. And once I get everything moved in. So
Yeah.
I have
Well, it'll
big
be
plans.
yours, and like you're like a grown up now, buying a house.
Doing grown up things.
Mm-hmm.
And I have like big ideas for how I'm going to do the space. That's gonna be my
Mm-hmm.
like office, which is
Mm-hmm.
also my podcasting room.
Yeah.
So yeah, this time next week I'll be recording somewhere different,
That's
which is
crazy.
wild.
This is our last episode with Edna.
Forgot about Edna. That's probably who's in the attic right now that keeps
It's
walking around.
truly.
Or it's like a homeless person upstairs in my attic. That's fine. That's actually
You
really
honestly
creepy to
never
think
know.
about.
Yeah.
So creepy to think about. They're like listening to me talk about them right now. Anyway, my dog will eat you. Don't come down.
Millie will. Millie will 100%
Oh,
eat
she
them.
would rip them apart.
Yeah.
So,
Millie doesn't play with strangers.
she does not. Anybody that's been in my house knows that Millie is terrifying for no reason either. So, she can be like the sweetest dog ever.
Mm-hmm. She's
Like at
just
the
a
vet.
little reactive girl.
But she's reactive at the weirdest times and the weirdest places. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, we can go to PetSmart and walk around. She'll let people pet her. She'll be so sweet, so kind. My parents' house, anybody can be there besides my aunt and my cousin. She does not like them. She's so sweet, kind, all of those things. The vet,
Mm-hmm.
sweet, kind, was snuggling with the vet tech this past week. Anybody steps foot in our house, it's in game for them. They're done.
Well, that's her space. That's her home,
Yeah. But it's like, can we not?
Yeah.
Can we just like love everybody?
Can we just love everybody equally, Millie?
Yeah. So when you come over to the new house,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna have to like
It's gonna be
slowly
OV.
introduce it.
Yeah,
We're
that's
gonna have
fine.
I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to figure it out because she's gonna have to get used to people coming into the house.
Well, I'm the
We gotta
perfect person to do that with because I
so
also
sue
have a
me if she
reactive
bites you.
dog. Max like doesn't bite, but Max will like stand there and bark at them, and I'm like,
Mhm.
why are you barking? So he's also reactive to a degree, so I get it.
Yeah. It's annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Just like let them in.
Yeah, it can be like frustrating to have a reactive dog and
We can't have
anxiety
big guests
inducing.
over. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to like give her trazodone and hope for the best.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Anyways, let's go into your highs and lows.
So my low is I thought Max had like, okay, realistically what he could have had was like a UTI. In my brain, his kidneys are shutting down and he's dying. That's not, so he was having some urinary tract issues. I thought he was. So, I was like panicky and I took him to the vet on Friday. He's fine. There's literally nothing wrong with him. Everything was normal. He apparently is just waking me up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom just for funsies. Um, and,
He's in a
uh,
mood.
yeah, at like 1 o'clock in the morning, like, cause I'm like, oh my God, he can't hold it. Like, what's wrong? Why can't he hold it? And okay, so the interesting story. So I called my vet on Thursday, and they were like, you can bring him in tomorrow and just drop him off. And they were like, try to make it to where he doesn't use the bathroom until he gets here. And I was like, that's not going to happen, because like we go outside and go to my car and then go from my car to the vet's office. Like, he's going to pee when he's outside. Like, he's not going to be able to just wake up and hold it. So, I was just like, I'll do my best, but that's probably not going to happen. And they were like, that's fine, because like I was dropping him off. So like, if we need to get a sample later on, we can. They were like, it would just make it easier if he could hold it until he got here. And so I was like, okay. So then I was like thinking, and I was like, there's no way he's gonna be able to hold it. So I'm just gonna get the sample myself in my brain. I'm thinking this is how this is gonna go. Here I go, Friday morning, have my backpack on. Max is pulling me. I'm trying to find the right key to lock my apartment. I have a meal prep container in my hand to get his sample, and I'm taking forever to lock my door because I cannot find the right key. So I'll finally get it locked, and I turn around, and he has peed on like the porch behind me, and I was like, okay. So then I take him down to his favorite bush, and I'm like, you always pee on this bush, so like we'll get a sample here. I did. He steps on it and knocks it all out of my hand and the Tupperware container, and I was like, okay, cool. So we get in the car. I still have this Tupperware container, and I'm just like, this is all just a disaster. And we get to the vet, and he's pulling me towards a specific like pole, and I was like, okay, this is it. So then like I get a little bit of a sample in this Tupperware container. It's raining. I walk into the vet in the pouring rain with this sample, and I'm like, you all think I'm crazy, but I have a little bit of a sample in this meal prep container, and you all can keep the meal prep container. It's fine. But like, but here I am, and here's Max.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Did they take it?
Yeah, they were like, oh, thank you. And I was like, it is not much, but it is the best I can do. So, and they were able to use it. So it wasn't,
Oh, yay.
yeah, it wasn't like all that work for nothing. So, but yeah, so it was just, I was very stressed. I also had a one-on-one meeting with my boss on Friday that felt stress inducing, but that was also kind of my high, is that there was some personal and professional validation in that meeting that
Yay.
I kind of needed. So yeah, so it was kind of funny because I had this meeting with my boss, and that was going well. Then the vet called me in the middle of that meeting, and I was like, hold on, I think my dog might be dying. Hold on. And then I get on the phone with my vet, and he's like, it's literally so fine, basically. Like, it's okay. And so I'm like, okay. So like my dog's fine. Work's good. We're living high right now. So a low into the high.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good.
See, you needed that.
Yeah.
And I did. Noticed you're wearing a Ratatouille shirt.
I am wearing a Ratatouille shirt.
So cute.
There's like this girl on TikTok who has like, she gets a bunch of like oversized, like just like random t-shirts that are just like, they're just like, I have one with like Cusco on it and stuff like that, but those are stuff that like I can wear to work. Just because like, you know, there are kids around our office and stuff, so I get them for like Fridays and stuff. But yeah.
Cute.
Yeah.
Cute. See, I work in private practice. I could wear sweatpants to work, but that's not really professional. And I don't do that.
Yeah.
I do wear leggings and a sweatshirt sometimes. But like our sweatshirt.
Yeah. We love those sweatshirts. I will, I mean, I wear jeans and like sweatshirts and stuff, but I don't like dress to the nines because my clients would be like, why are you dressed like that? Sometimes I wear holy jeans and a t-shirt, call it a day.
Yeah. Whatever works.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so funny.
Dead.
Yeah, but we should have gone. I'm really mad. Like when I saw that, I didn't see it until Saturday that he was there. Like I didn't look at Instagram stories on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, damn it,
We could have been there with James and Pauly D. Tearing it up.
would have been so much fun.
Yeah, it would have been. I would have been living, I'm telling you, my best life.
Yeah. Anyways,
We need to
um,
talk about one day the cultural significance of Jersey Shore.
oh my gosh, yes. And all the drama that's happening right now with Jersey Shore is insane.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not watching it, but like I'm seeing it play out on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I'm like, first of all, Angelina, what did you do to your face?
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, why are you coming at Sammy? Like she's not doing anything and you sound absolutely insane.
It's always, I feel like Angelina's always coming at somebody for something, and I just don't ever get it.
I don't either. And why was she swearing on her dog? Don't swear on your dog.
No. My dog's the last thing I'm swearing on, if we're being honest.
Literally. Especially after my dream.
Yes. You
Me
all
and
didn't
Autumn
get
were
to hear
just
the
talking
dream.
about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You all don't get to hear it because you're not special enough. But just know that it was an anxiety-inducing dream involving Millie.
Yes. So the fuck if I am swearing on Millie. No.
Mm-hmm. Before we dive into Vanderpump, you need to this is me giving you an instruction. You
Mhm.
have got to watch Summer House.
I know.
You got to.
I saw a clip this week of Paige and
Mm-hmm.
Craig talking.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why am I not watching this show?
It's
Because,
so
okay,
good.
first of all, Craig and Paige, from what I gathered, have been dating for like 2, 3 years, right?
Yes. Correct. Yeah.
So Craig is 35, she's 31.
Mm-hmm.
He is ready for marriage. She's not ready for marriage,
Right. Yeah.
which I think is perfectly fine for her to not be ready for marriage. But also, I think like the biggest debate is like, should he be made to wait until she is ready for marriage?
Mm-hmm.
But she did say like she sees all of that with him, but just not right
Mm-hmm.
now in this moment.
Yeah. And that's very much like her. If you watch the show,
Yeah.
she kind of Paige is my favorite one. I love Paige, and she's just kind of fuck anybody who tells me that by this certain age I have to be married with kids because it's not my vibe. And I'm like, more power to you. Absolutely. She did say something on this season. So she's getting a new apartment, and so her and Craig split. So he'll be in New York part of the time and she'll be in Charleston part of the time. And so he got a new place and considered her in this new place and space for her as well. And so she's now getting a new apartment and she's considering space for him as well. And he said to her if you want to pay more for the apartment, I can pay anything over what you can't afford if you want to. So kind of I can fill in that gap. And she was
Yep.
Absolutely not. And she was I will not have a place to where I need him to make that payment for me to live in case something happens. And sometimes I see some of those decisions and I'm like, what's your trauma? Because
Mhm.
she's very hyper independent, which I think is great, but I think sometimes it does keep them a wedge between them is what it seems like. But she did say that she had a boyfriend at one point who held a lot. If he paid for anything, it was held over her head a lot. So now she's just very much nobody will ever do that to me again. But yeah, there's a lot of people in the summer house that I shouldn't say a lot of people. There's one person in the summer house that a couple of episodes ago kind of tried to give her some shit for it. But Craig is happy where he's at right now. He
Yeah.
seems secure in that, and so I think they're trying to figure it out at their own pace.
By going off of the 2-minute clip that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also seen another clip. Well, Did I tell you this? When I was at my parents' house a few weeks ago for like Easter weekend, I kept it on Bravo and it was like a summer house
Mhm.
marathon. So there was a lot of episodes like playing in the background. And one of those episodes was Paige and Craig got into like a tussle the night before and she
Mhm.
was like vomiting and like really hungover and well, I guess just like sick from drinking and everything.
Mhm.
She wasn't hungover yet. And he was like trying to have a serious conversation with her and she was like puking her guts out.
Yeah.
And like that's not the time to have a serious conversation
Yeah.
with someone. And so the next morning she was like he was like wanting to talk about it and she was like, "Yeah." And like he was like, "Well, I'm gonna go take a shower. You should come join me." And like blah blah
Mhm.
blah. And so she goes and she's like talking with her friend. And I guess he like waits around and then he just takes a shower and he comes back in there and he's like, "I was waiting on you." And she was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, my bad." But it's just like a someone I remember like looking at like a video seeing that play out on TikTok like right after I
Mhm.
watched that episode because I guess TikTok listens to everything. And
Yeah.
people in the comments were just like, Paige is so rude. Like, why did she do that? He obviously wanted to talk with her and spend time with her and like blah blah blah. And I'm like, have you guys never been around your girlfriends and just been like laughing and having a good time and talking
Mhm.
and like debriefing a night before and like
Yeah.
completely forgetting about everything else going on around you?
Right, yeah.
Like, that's exactly what happened.
Mhm.
She didn't do it to be malicious.
Right.
Like, it seemed like she did it because she just, like, wasn't really paying attention to what was
Wasn't
going
thinking about
on.
it. Yeah.
And she's hungover, people. Obviously, she's
Mhm.
puking up her guts the night before.
Yeah. People give Paige a really, like, a hard time sometimes because they're like, she's a spoiled brat and, like, she has things like at the beginning of the season, somebody was like, Paige, when are you going to do the dishes? And she was like, I've not touched a dish since 2009. So, but that's just like who she is and like she owns
Mhm,
it and she just kind of tells it like it is. And she's always been like that with Craig. Like, there's
mhm.
not been one second that she's been like, okay, well, we're going to get married next year. And then when it gets there, he's like making those plans. And she's like, no, I'm changing my mind. Like, she's told him where she's been at this whole time. And like
Mhm.
she has said, like, if that's not what you're cool with, then that's just not me. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Don't hold it over my head.
right. Yeah. And like if you feel the need, like I think that she loves Craig, but I think if Craig came to her and was like, I feel the need to break up with you because you're not in the same place, like she would be like, okay.
I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I'm really gonna have to watch this because it sounds so interesting, and
it's so good.
I really like the dynamics, and that new
Mm-hmm.
dude, I've seen so many clips of that new dude. Oh my gosh, what is his
West.
name? West?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He
I
seems
love
like
West.
he seems so fun,
Yeah.
and how he was talking about that girl that,
Uh-huh.
like, he was wanting to date, and he was like, "I don't know if she likes me." Like,
Yeah.
he was just, like, so sweet about it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and, like, patient and all those
Mhm.
yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna have to watch it because
Yeah.
it looks good.
We're gonna have to get you on the summer house train.
Yeah, it always comes up as, like, the top pick when I log into Peacock, Summer House popped up as,
Yeah.
"You would like this," so,
Yeah. I'm telling you,
anyway,
I wouldn't start at the first season. I would go like maybe
yeah,
3 seasons in.
I will do that.
Yeah. So,
Oh, I was watching The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City,
uh-huh.
and this week, and I was like, "What's Katie and Lala doing here?"
They're just like Bravo World is just like you never know who was gonna pop up on what shows ever.
Mhm. Yeah, I was just, not really, paying that much attention, just, scrolling, and I look
Right.
up and I'm like, "What you girls doing here?" But yeah. Well, speaking of Katie and Lala, let's go into
Mhm.
Vanderpump. It seems like we might not be getting any more Vanderpump. They just
Yeah.
paused. They announced this week that they are not recording this summer, which is when they always record it. So I'm wondering if that has to do with Ariana filming Love Island because that starts this summer too.
Right,
So they know that the show cannot go on without the queen herself.
right.
But also, I think it's kind of like what we've talked about. Like maybe it has just run its course, and everyone
Mhm.
should just hop on over to the valley.
Yeah.
Cause I
I'm
don't
gonna be
know.
sad. I'm gonna be. I get it because it has kind of run its course, but I'm gonna be sad just because I love
Mhm.
Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah, and I think like everyone right now, it seems like everyone is fighting. And I
Mhm.
also heard that Stassi is Team Lala and is not friends with Katie.
Which is bizarre to me.
Yeah.
Something's going down with that. Lala irritated the shit out of me this season or this episode about Daniel.
Mhm.
Dan, is that his name? Ariana's boyfriend. I
Yeah.
think she was just being very disparaging to him for no reason.
Mhm.
Like, I think it was really shitty. I was watching it again last night, and I think it was just shitty how she was like, she meets him, he's very nice to her, and she's in the confessional, like, who meets a girl 10 years out of a relationship and is like, yep, that's the one. And I'm like, I'm sure people do that every day.
Mhm.
Like, I don't, what's weird about, I don't understand what's weird about that.
No, I don't either. And and calling him just a rebound is like
Yeah.
really disrespectful
Mm
to their relationship. And then also, I don't know, like her whole attitude towards him
hmm.
was
Mm
so disrespectful.
hmm.
And
Mm
like, I hope Ariana watches this back and it's just like, are any of these people my real friends? And I
hmm.
think
That
she said
seems like
that on
that's
Watch What
what's
Happens
happened.
Live.
Yeah. That's what it seems like has happened because she's not talking to anybody but Katie. And like, I don't know. I just, there's just no point, like again, he was nice to her. So like, why are you being such a bitch about it?
Mhm. And he helped your friend get through one of the most difficult times in
Mm
her life. So like,
hmm. Mm hmm.
why aren't you more supportive of this person?
Mm hmm. Yeah. And for somebody who walked around for freaking seasons being like, my man, my man, my man, you're not going to say this about my man. James Kennedy
Mhm.
calls him the fat man and she like lunges down his throat. But you're going to like talk disparaging about somebody else that frankly you don't know.
It's jealousy. And like, that's
Yeah.
all I'm seeing from Lala this season is straight up jealousy. And
Hmm.
I don't like it.
No. And I'm still missing where everybody's like, this was her season. And I'm like, was it?
I don't see it. I do not see it.
Mm-mm.
And like, how is Stassi Team Lala? Like, I'm just so confused on that dynamic.
Unless something else happened with Katie that we're
Yeah.
not seeing yet. Because that's one thing about Katie is Katie will go on like these rants and these Twitter rants and text rants
Mhm.
or tequila Katie stuff and be kind of offensive. So I don't really know, but
I don't know. I'm so confused.
hmm.
I want to know what's going on.
Hmm.
What is happening? Tell us.
Speak your
I've
truth.
also I've also heard rumors that Stassi is creating her own show
If
and
so,
be
I
on
hope James
Bravo.
Kennedy's on it because that would be like the most tragic part of Vanderpump Rules ending is that James Kennedy would not be on our TV screens anymore.
Yeah, be so sad. My
Hmm.
gosh. Hopefully he'll hop on over somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lala's not being a good friend. Sheena is not being a
Sheena,
good friend.
Sheena had that conversation with Sandoval at the thing, which I did not disagree with her conversation, where
Mhm.
she was very much just like, you did this, don't say anything, don't defend yourself, you did this, acknowledge that it was shitty. Um, I would have been proud of Sheena if she hadn't have acted how she has all season and then had that conversation because I would have been like, oh, she's being a really good friend to Ariana because in that moment she is,
Mhm.
but then everything else surrounding that she's not. So
No. And in this episode, we also see her say that Sandoval has been the only person that has been there for her.
Yeah, which is a bunch of shit.
I can't get over that. And I can't get over her actions this entire season. Like,
Mhm.
the way that her and Lala have been acting towards Ariana
Mhm.
has just been like, do you even like her?
Mhm.
Like, I really want to know, like, do you like Ariana?
Yeah.
What did I say earlier this week? I said Sandoval's apology that he gave in the confessional to Ariana was bullshit and doesn't count because he didn't say it to her face.
And he never does. And
Mm-mm.
the only time that we've seen him apologize to Ariana was on the reunion. And nobody really bought it because it was
Bullshit.
right after the fact, and it was Crocodile Tear Central, and it was
And he was
it was
still
just,
seeing Raquel.
and he was, yeah, and it was I'm in love with Raquel and things like that. So I don't at this point I just don't know that Sandoval can really do anything. I just think that he needs to just like stop, you know.
Mhm. Did you see his mom's face when he was performing?
Yeah.
So Sandoval's, cover band,
Mhm.
we've made fun of it multiple times. But now we get to see his mom's reaction. And his mom's reaction was my favorite part of this whole season, to be honest, because her face, like, she looked so disturbed, to be
Mhm.
honest. Like, she was smiling, but, like, you could tell it was just, like, the most uncomfortable smile
Yeah.
in the entire world. Like, just like, okay, okay.
What is my child up there doing?
Why is he dancing around like that? Why does he have a microphone when he can't sing? Um, okay. It'd be like me getting up there and singing on a microphone.
You'd probably do better than Tom Sandoval.
Yeah, probably. And that's saying a lot because I cannot
Yeah.
sing at all.
And that's, I mean, he could probably get to there with his penis flute too, and he's like shredding it.
Can you see him playing the penis flute in front of his mom?
Yeah, I can.
Oh
Because then
my
I can see
god.
her being like, Tom, what are you doing? And he's like, it's just so cool.
And she's like,
It's
no,
like
no, no.
it's like art, you know?
Art. This penis flute is art. Whatever, bro. Get out of here.
Listen, I'm Tom Sandoval's number one hater.
I'm Sheena's number one hater.
Oh, I'm 100% Sheena's number one hater.
It was Summer Moon's birthday yesterday.
Honestly, like, I was thinking about this too, because her and Brock had that dinner and they had that conversation about how, like, this is his second chance to be a dad. And the name thing with Summer Moon's name and his first daughter being named like Winter or something.
Mm-hmm.
If I was his children's mom, that would have been enough to piss me off at Gina.
Yeah.
Just because, like, why would you name your kid that close to a kid that you can't see? That just seems.
And now I see why Sheena has been going around for the past 2 years being like, I've always wanted to name my kid Summer Moon, and I've like
Mhm.
always like loved the name Summer. Like, she's been really playing that up, and I think because she knew in some way that his daughter's name was going to come out, and it
Yeah,
was going to be like, why the fuck did you do this? This is weird.
right.
Now we know Sheena
And
always has an agenda.
when she was with Rob, she was like, "We're already planning our kids, and our daughter's name's gonna be Madison something." And I'm
Mhm.
like, "Oh, but you always wanted to name her Summer Moon? Give me a break."
Give me a fucking break. I love that, like, the video that people have been doing because Sheena's talking about, like, this summer, Summer and Ocean are starting
Preschool.
and everyone's just like, this summer, Corn and Chip are starting. It's so funny. I love it. I love people making fun of that because it just sounds so bizarre if you don't know like the context behind
Right.
everything. Like
I love people making fun of Sheena.
I do
That's
too.
just
I love it.
that's the love language that I have.
And we are nice therapists, I promise.
Disclaimer: we're not mean people.
We're not mean people. We just don't really agree with anything that Sheena does. And we would never be friends with someone like Sheena. And I don't like we personally think that there's not a lot of people that should be friends with Sheena with the way that she portrays herself. With what we've seen on TV, she does not seem like a good friend. And she does not have the friend qualities. Again,
I would want.
what we see on TV
Yeah.
does not portray good qualities in friends. In a
Yeah.
friend. Maybe she's not like that behind the scenes. Nick Vile says differently.
And we are Nick Vile fans around here.
Yes. Did the wedding video?
Oh,
Also, like they are such big Swifties.
Yes. They love Taylor and Travis.
Yeah. The like instrumentals that they did for Walking Down the Aisle of Wildest Dreams. Oh my god. So cute.
Their wedding was so beautiful. Did you hear
Really
have you heard anything about like their experience with the wedding?
I heard about like the person that was gonna do Natalie's hair for like the second I guess the reception.
Yeah.
And like that experience, that was really negative.
Yeah. And then they went to they went to their they were gonna do their honeymoon in Turks and Caicos. And so they get to the Turks and Caicos airport. And they cannot get through security because there's a rip in Natalie's passport. So they won't let them in. And then they try to get a flight back to the United States. Their flight back to the United States is delayed by like a day. And they're in the Turks and Caicos airport, no air conditioning, it's tiny.
Yeah.
They have river. And it's just a nightmare. Delta does like set them up with a hotel there, so they're like able to like go and like have like a nice dinner at like the hotel. But then like they come back to the United States, and like an hour after they get on their plane and come back to the United States, there's a bomb threat at the Turks and Caicos airport they were at.
Okay.
Yeah, just insanity. So they talk about like it being like their 12-hour honeymoon.
Yeah. That's crazy. Oh my god. Yeah. I can't believe that. A rip? Like, was it a rip on like the page where her picture was?
I don't know. I didn't read like the full thing, but the way they made it sound like it was just a very insignificant tear, but they wouldn't let her in. And they had already had issues with Rivers. Like, I guess her mom was going to the honeymoon with them so that her mom could like watch River. So they had already had issues with her mom and River's passports, and they finally got that figured out. And then by the time they get over to Turks and Caicos, they can't get through.
That's ridiculous.
So they're like, we're just gonna go to Puerto Rico.
Or have they gone to Puerto Rico?
I don't think so. I think they were like, they're gonna plan.
Anyways, at least we'll go somewhere exotic-ish.
Exotic-ish.
Yeah. Well, I guess let's hop on over to the Valley. Or wait. Can we talk about Tom Schwartz's proposition to Katie?
What is that? And like, I don't know if she's gonna do it, but the wheels are turning. She thinks about it for a minute, I feel like.
So Schwartzy's proposition to Katie was like pretty much like one time for the one time. Like, we're here in San Francisco. Let's just hang out, do what we did, get a bunch of junk food, have sex, scroll on our phones. Huh? Katie was like, I didn't even want to do that when we were married. Like, but I don't know. Wow. He was just like, hear me out. Like, Schwartzy, do you need sex that bad?
No, I think that he just loves Katie. I mean, I don't think that they're in love with each other, but I think they just love each other. And so that's just
Mhm.
so easy to, like, want to bounce back
Do you
into.
do you think he's, like, them hanging out and their friendship kind of, like, rekindling their friendship, it's getting, like, confusing for him? Like, he's having some confusing feelings of, like, "Is this platonic? Do we want more? Maybe this way, if we go and hook up, we'll figure out if we want more or not." Do you think that's him trying to figure that out?
I think a little bit just because he doesn't really know what he's doing in general. I think part of it is too is that, like, the stuff with Joe is very confusing to him, and, like, his dating life is very confusing to him, it sounds like. Like, it sounds like all of that is just very confusing. He doesn't really know what he wants. He doesn't know if he, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just very blurry. But with Katie, Katie's like his security blanket because they were together for so long.
Yeah,
So I think that he kind of clings to that a little bit.
I can see that.
Mhm.
I feel bad for him that he's,
Mhm.
like, so confused and he's, like, working through this, but I think after such a significant, like, event happening in your life, like a divorce like that and ending a 12-year relationship,
Mhm.
like, you gotta do some self-discovery and, like, it takes time to
Yeah.
figure out what you really want.
Mhm.
And maybe he has now since he's in a new relationship,
Right.
but I think, like, this was filmed what, September? Yeah, because
Mhm.
Lala's birthday. They just celebrated Lala's birthday. So it was, like, September when this was going on.
Mhm.
So, hadn't really figured it out yet.
Yeah. I think Katie kind of tethered Tom Schwartz as far as, like, gave him. I don't know. I feel like Tom Schwartz is just kind of like out there floating, following the wind now. You
Mhm.
know.
With his bleached blonde hair.
Yeah. God. Terrible.
That was not a good decision.
Mm-mm.
I do believe that that was intentional, that Joe did that, and I think
Yeah.
she did it, like, in a way that was, like, burning his scalp, and, like, I'm not a hairdresser, but I worked at Sally's, and I know what you're not supposed to do, and, like,
Yeah.
she was frying his scalp.
Yeah. She was like,
That was punishment.
and do I blame her? No, I probably would have done the same thing.
Get it, girl. We
Yeah.
understand. But the Valley.
Drama on the Valley right now.
Let's talk about Jackson Brittany first.
I feel like Jax and Brittany were both wrong in that conversation that they had at that
Yes.
dinner table.
So, like, they have a night out,
Mhm.
um, where they get a hotel room and they're away from Cruz, and they're just them trying to work on each other and, like,
Mhm.
rebuild their marriage, which is
Mhm.
exactly what they did because they went to some person. I'm like, "What was that person?"
Yeah. Who was this person? Yeah.
I don't know what kind of person she was. Some kind of, like, hippie sex therapist. That's
Yeah.
what I'm gonna call it.
Yeah.
And so, like, they were trying to find, like, intimacy and, like, how to be intimate again and all of that. So they
Mhm.
go and they have this dinner, and over dinner, they're talking about having another kid, and Jax was kind of like, "Well, I wanna focus on opening up this restaurant," and Brittany's like, "Well, my focus is having another kid," and Jax is like, "Well, Cruz is having a lot of issues right now. Do we really wanna have another kid while Cruz is having these issues and take attention away from him?" And Brittany was like, "You promised me this." Like, it was a lot of, like,
Mhm.
tension, and I think,
Mhm.
like, now I can see why they are headed down the road for divorce even more because I'm like, "Wow,
Mhm.
you guys can't agree on anything."
No. And I don't think that Jax was wrong in saying, like,
Mm,
he wanted to focus on the bar. I don't think he was wrong in saying, like,
we need to focus
Cruz
on
is having all
Cruz.
this stuff.
Mhm.
I don't, but then I hear Brittany and she's like, well, you're saying that I'm a bad mom. And I don't think that's what Jax was saying. I think that Jax was saying, we have a lot of stuff going on right now. So,
Mhm.
like, that's where I think Brittany was wrong, was she was interpreting it as he's calling her a bad mom. That's not what he said. But
Yeah.
then she gets upset and, like, is crying. And he's basically like, you can't have any emotions about this. You need to stop crying. So I'm like, okay, like, that's not okay either.
No. And I also don't think it's okay for, you know, like she said, of like him promising her, like, yeah,
Mhm,
like at this time we're gonna have a kid and all this stuff.
mhm,
Like he should have said that prior to this conversation of
mhm,
like that he was leaning more in the direction of focusing on cruise, focusing on the restaurant, not continuing to be like, yeah, we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it. And I think
mhm,
that's just Jax's behavior of like, I'm going to avoid it until it blows up in my face, and then I'm going to be like,
mhm,
no.
yeah. Because if you watch Jax Taylor is not very good at he's good at the explosives of it. He's
Mhm.
not good at the preventing the explosiveness, you know?
Yes. He just lets it, like, just build and build and
Mhm.
build, and
Yeah.
it's like when you shake up a can of soda and then
Mhm.
you, like and he's just like and it's like,
Yeah.
"Buddy, can we, like, not get to that point?
Mhm.
How do we not get to that point where the soda is shaken up?"
Mhm.
Like, it just I don't know, and I don't agree with how he spoke to her either. I don't like that.
Mm-mm.
I don't like that at all.
No.
I think
And
you
he's
can
always been like that. He's
yeah.
very much like he will talk down to the person that he is with.
Mhm. Like, I think you can express your frustrations with your partner without being like, "No, you can't have any emotions.
Mhm.
You're not allowed to cry." Like,
Mhm.
excuse me?
Mhm.
Like, Brittany, I know Cruz is 3, 2, 3 at this
Mhm.
point. Like, he's got a lot of, like, health issues going on right now. We
Mhm.
don't know exactly what exactly is going on, but, like, with everything that's going on with him, she's already beating herself up, I'm sure.
Mhm.
And you can have postpartum depression for years after you have a kid. So who's
Yeah.
to say that right now she's not experiencing postpartum depression and you're
Right.
tearing her down?
Well, and at the end of the day, she's allowed to feel whatever she feels. Like,
Exactly.
whether or not you agree with it or that you think that she should or shouldn't,
You don't get
she
to say
does.
that someone
So,
isn't allowed to try.
yeah.
Because hey, guess what, buddy? You're not allowed to scream in someone's face.
Yeah. And be aggressive.
Because that's not a healthy response.
Mhm.
So, can we talk about Michelle and Jesse? Another couple that's falling apart before our eyes.
Mhm.
So this is where I'm like, every time Jesse is talking to her, this is why, like, I know last week I was like, I don't know if Jesse knows. He doesn't know. He does
Mm-mm.
not know.
He
This
doesn't know.
episode
Yeah.
showed that he does not know. And she was sitting there like the entire time they were having a conversation. She was just like,
Like in the kitchen.
mm-hmm.
In the kitchen, it was so glaringly obvious. It was like,
Yes.
like I felt like uncomfortable watching it a little bit because I was like, I, yeah.
Because, like, he was like, I'm willing to fight for this marriage. I'm willing to do this. And she's like, yeah,
Mhm.
I'm willing to do as well.
Yeah.
Like, girl, just say it. Just, like,
Mhm.
say that you don't wanna work on your marriage. Like,
Mhm.
what are you afraid of? Which
Yeah.
also makes me concerned about, again, looking at his responses. Is that what you are afraid of?
Right. Because he is very like Rachel,
Explosive.
but you know, like if she's gonna do it, I would do it on camera.
That's true with the whole crew in your house.
Mhm.
Maybe she will. Maybe that's, like, one of the I don't know, when is the season finale?
I feel like we're coming up on it.
Yeah, we have to be. And the reunion, god, can you imagine the
They're
reunion?
not
Because
gonna have a
she's
reunion.
they're not? Oh,
No,
because
they're
it's the
not
first
for season
season.
1. Mhm.
Yeah, they never have a reunion for season 1. Yeah, I was gonna say because now, like, Michelle is out with her boyfriend.
Mhm. Yeah, they're not gonna have a reunion for this season.
So is
Like they
this the
confirmed
guy
it.
that she has been talking to?
I don't know. I haven't done homework. I haven't done homework into the new boyfriend.
Because now I guess it would be, like, almost 2 years. If this is the person that Kristen was talking about, then it's been
Mhm.
almost 2 years.
And
That's
what
wild.
Kristen is just so freaking messy because it's like that's almost begging people to find out what you're talking about. by always saying, like, I always protect you. I always protect you. I'll just keep on protecting you in front of all these people. Like, you're begging for someone to be like, what are you protecting her from?
She's like fishing for it,
Mm-hmm.
which
That's like when
again,
people like are like, I have a secret, but I can't tell you what it is.
it's like, then don't say you have a secret.
Exactly. Like, Kristen, if Kristen was my friend, I'd be like, well, then why the hell are you saying anything? She's just messy.
Brittany was just like, it's not Brittany's business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was like,
I'm out of it.
exactly. It is
Uh-huh.
not anybody's business but Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
And if Michelle wants to tell the world, then she wants to tell the world. And like confiding in your friend about something that secretive and then having that being held over your head, like that's
Mm-hmm.
horrible.
Yeah.
Because like if my best friend told me something like that, the fuck if I'm going to be like, okay, let's hold it over your head until you do something that pisses me off, and then I'm going to expose you to your man. I'm
Right.
not
Yeah.
friends with your man. I'm friends
Right.
with you. I have
Mm-hmm.
loyalty to you, not him.
On him. Yeah.
So the fuck if I'm going to say anything,
Right.
even if I get pissed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of those things that even if I'm mad at you, I'm not blowing up your spot like that.
Because guess what? Number one, it's not my business. Number two, I love you no matter what. So end
Mm-hmm.
of the day,
Yeah. It's off limits. Telling you, Kristen's just up to the same Kristen shit that she's been up to since Vanderpump. Nothing's changed.
and I think this episode proved my point of last week that Luke is an enabler, and everyone else
Mm-hmm.
sees that.
Yeah.
That he just kind of like pushes her bad behavior, and they had that
Mm-hmm.
like talk with him of just kind of like, stop encouraging this shit
Right.
because it's a shit storm.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever. He has to see it on his own. Well, yeah, let's see how the Valley goes for the
Mm-hmm.
rest of the season and when they're going to pick up cameras again. I would say like July.
Yeah, I would say it would be soon.
Keep this theme going of talking about Taylor Swift albums and going through the lore behind the albums. And we have so much Taylor Swift knowledge that, I mean, we're just going to put This Is Taylor Swift's playlist on shuffle, and then whatever song comes up, we're going to go with that album.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that right now.
Live.
I'm nervous. I don't
I'm
know why I'm
nervous too.
nervous.
If
I'm
it's
like,
Reputation, we'll have to skip it, but
yeah. Okay, here we go. Watch it be pictured of burning. Okay, anyway. And can you hear it?
no.
It's 22.
All right. I guess it's red.
Here we go.
Here we go. This is a doozy too.
Yeah. So, well, there is two reds because we have the re-recording of Red, and we also have the OG Red.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go through both because I mean there's some songs on there like Babe and Better Man that also just like kind of confirm a lot of things about what everyone was guessing about the timeline of when these songs were written because they didn't come
Right.
out until like 2017, 2018. So like, or 2016, or whenever. But like everyone was always concerned about when
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
those songs were written. Well,
Mm-hmm.
let's see. So let's start with, did you go to the Red Tour?
No. So here's my thing. My Taylor Swift fandom, it started with Debut a little bit because I was in a country phase.
Yeah.
I fell off for Fearless. I mean, I still know, like, the popular ones. I fell off for Fearless and Speak Now. Red was the first album that really got me back on to Taylor Swift. So I got the Red album for a gift right before I went to college. And that's what I listened to. It's actually still stuck in my car CD player because that is what I moved 3 hours away from home to go to school. So I would put that in and it would play on repeat on the way home and then on the way back. So that's really what got me. I think honestly, Begin Again, I really, really like that song. And so that got me onto the Red album. So that got me back into Taylor Swift. So I wasn't like attending her concerts at this point or anything. I was just stepping back into the world.
I didn't go. I went to Fearless tour 2010, and then I didn't go to another concert until Reputation in 2018. That wasn't for a lack of trying. That was just my mom. Not buying me tickets to Taylor Swift. For Speak Now, Red, in 1989. But I will say Red holds a very significant place in my heart because during this time, so I experienced like a really bad breakup in 2011. And that was like we all have these like first heartbreaks, first breakups that like rock your fucking world. But at that time, Red hadn't come out yet. So I was listening to Last Kiss over and over and over on my bedroom floor crying. And then about a year later, which, I mean, there's so much. I'm not going to talk about relationships, but me and this person got back together multiple times. And this album came out, Red came out after another significant breakup between me and this guy. And when this one came out, oh, it hit so hard, especially All Too Well.
Yeah.
That was on repeat. I Almost Do was also on repeat. Like all the really significant, like sad songs were on repeat. But also the upbeat songs of like 22, of like F Everybody, the back and forth relationship that me and this person had. We are never ever getting back together. People would come up to me in the hallway and be like, "This is your so and so song." I was like, "Thanks." And then he even pointed that out. He was like, "This is our song. This is our anthem." And I was like, "Yeah, can we please stop?"
Wait, can it not be?
Can it not? But anyways, yeah. So like that holds like a very significant place in my heart because it like not only is like those really toxic memories from my first relationship, but also like Red also goes through, we've talked about All Too Well, like it goes through like the good memories too of like how a relationship is, and then like the sad parts of like how it ends and everything. And I think this album, she does a really good job about this in all of her albums, but I think this album in particular shows first love heartbreak.
Yeah.
And
so I think this was the first one. I mean, it obviously was not her first experience, but I think that this relationship just hit different for her. And it's the first time that we really see her kind of like put that intensity of emotion from something that from the outside world is short-lived, you know?
I think like there's so many lines on this album that I think people still quote today. And like when I was watching the Red era on the Eras tour, I was like, holy shit, like there were so many bangers from this album.
Right.
Like not just like sad songs, but like bangers, like absolute like dance around your room, scream at the top of your lungs.
Yeah.
Do you remember that goat video that went around?
I do, yeah.
Like the I Knew You Were Trouble. And then they put a goat in it. Oh, so good. But yeah, and I think also during this was like the era, like the first era, we got the bangs and the straight hair from her, which was really significant because we had only ever seen her with curly hair.
And it was shorter.
Yeah.
Right?
And also, like, I think back in the day, because she said that she wrote Red while she was on the Speak Now tour because the breakup happened while
Mhm.
she was on Speak Now tour. And I remember her talking
Mhm.
about her writing All Too Well. She was in rehearsals and she just walked up to the piano and she just started
Mhm.
playing and everything just poured out. And
Mhm.
like they recorded it all and like
Mhm.
cuz her mom like reached over and was like, "You guys getting this? Like
Mhm.
record it." Um and thank God for Andrea doing that cuz like
Mhm.
but she just poured her heart out for this song and they said it just like kept going and going and going and like you can see that like in the song like even just the original version is like almost 6 minutes long and like you can just hear the gradual buildup of this like significant heartbreak.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful, painful song.
Mhm. And I think the album tells a story too, so like we start off with State of Grace.
Mhm.
And like State of Grace is a song about kind of like finding this partner that kind of like feels like your twin flame. She says
Mhm.
it like in the song. So she says, just twin fire signs, four blue eyes. So automatically we know that is about Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, so if you
'Cause-
don't know, Red
yeah.
is rumored to be mused about Jake Gyllenhaal, and we have a lot of
Mhm.
signs that it is.
Yeah. And I mean, this is one of the, I mean, obviously he has gorgeous blue eyes and he's also a
Mhm.
Sagittarius and she's a Sagittarius. And that's why she talks about like she says twin fire signs and then she also says like in all too well 10-minute versions, like did the twin flame bruise paint you blue.
Mhm.
But yeah, like this song just like reminds me of like she says I'll never be the same.
Mhm.
Like after meeting this person and after experiencing this love with this person, I'm never gonna be the same because you took me on a journey that no one else has taken me on in my
Mhm.
life. So that's such a significant and I love it too. Like it was the opener to the Red tour and it's the opener to the album and I think it just like encapsulates like her overall feeling about this relationship to begin with, like how significant it was. And then also we get she doesn't perform Red on
Mm-mm.
in the Red
She does not.
era,
No. No.
which is really sad because I absolutely love that song.
I love Red. Yeah.
That's actually like Josh's favorite song of hers.
Is it?
Yeah, he loves that song. And like that's the song that you hear. I want to okay. I want to say like Shake It Off is probably like the number one song that I hear all the time.
Mhm. Yeah.
Then comes Blank Space and then comes Red.
Yeah.
Like all the time. Like on the radio, that's what I hear.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's a really significant song, and that's another song that's just like you took me on this like wild ass journey, and then you just like left me at a dead end
Yeah.
street,
Mhm.
put the money in the bag, and stole the keys. It always goes back to Reputation.
It always goes back to reputation. I'm looking through like just the Red because I've been under the Tortured Poets Department like spell for the past couple weeks, so like I'm needing a refresher here.
Yeah.
And so many good ones. And I is this the
Mhm.
first time that we got the like duet call and response
Mhm.
type
With
of song too? Because I
yeah,
love when she does those.
yes. The Last Time
Mhm.
is on there, and that is such a
It's such a good
beautiful
song.
song. And
Yeah.
like everyone go watch the live performance
Mhm.
because holy smokes,
Mhm.
that was
It's
so
so good.
beautiful. And they have
Yeah.
their like backs to each other throughout it, and it's
Mhm.
just like it's stunning. It's a stunning performance.
Mhm.
And that is a song that's kind of just like it's towards the end of the album. So like the original album goes from State of Grace to Begin Again.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, and this is how it tells the story of like State of Grace, Red, Treacherous, of like this is an amazing relationship, but it's kind of like, what the hell is going on? I'm kind of like on a roller coaster. And
Right.
then I Knew You Were Trouble it's just kind of like, oh, well, I knew from the beginning that you would leave me.
Right. Yeah.
And then it goes into All Too Well, which we all know that. And then
That one pulls your gut out of your body.
and then it goes into 22 of like
Mhm.
kind of like a process of grief of a relationship of like, okay, well, F you, I'm going to go party with my girls. I'm 22 years old. You're not going to bring me down. And then it goes into like
Right.
it goes into I Almost Do, which is kind of like, oh, well, I almost pick up the phone to call you. I'm like thinking of you again. I'm like kind of like the depression kind of like sits in too.
Mhm.
And then it goes into We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together. So like he
Yeah.
calls me up and I'm like, I still love you. And then it goes into Stay, 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 which I think is like her reflecting on like the
Mhm.
relationship too, of kind of like, this was when it was a good time. And then the last time is like, this is the last time you're going to pull me back into this
Into this.
relationship.
Mhm.
And then I'm going to be done. Holy Ground. I feel personally in my bones, I feel Holy Ground is her looking back on not this relationship, but another relationship, and
Mhm.
like reflecting back on that and being like, oh, this was like when, like, this is like a really good time. And I'm not going to think negatively about this relationship now.
Right. Yeah.
And then Sad, Beautiful, Tragic, which I think is honestly like the bridge in Sad, Beautiful, Tragic is one of the
Mhm.
most gut wrenching bridges I have ever heard.
That's a really sad one.
It's kind of like you're taking me on a train ride and
Mhm.
you're just leaving me on a
Yeah.
train that's just going to keep going and you're going to stay right here.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's really sad. And then the Lucky One, which is obviously about her fame.
Mhm.
And I think during this time was like one of the first times we got a song of her being like, wow, I'm famous. I got everything I wanted, but I'm really sad.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then go into Everything Has Changed, which I think is another one of her like reflecting back on a relationship. And then Starlight is about when she started dating. I love how people call him the Kennedy kid.
Yeah. Mr. Connor.
But Starlight is when she was like hanging around the Kennedys and got
Mhm.
inspired by Ethel and Bobby's relationship and then
Yeah.
wrote this song. So this song is about Ethel and Bobby Kennedy, for those of you who don't
Mhm.
know the lore behind that.
Yeah.
And then Begin Again is about the Kennedy kid. And it's kind of like, oh, well, this is like a new relationship starting. And I'm going to put myself back out there.
Mhm. I love
So,
Begin Again too. Like, I just think it's a perfect end to Red too, you know. Which I think is what Taylor Swift does the best. When she puts out a new album, so my friend Alexa, when the Tortured Poets Department came out, she was like, I feel like it's like it takes like a commitment for me to like listen to that. Um
mhm.
because I think you're going on like a story. Like there's there's a beginning and there's an end to it, like any book would be. It's almost like you have like a beginning and an end, and then you're going to be taken
Yeah.
on this wild journey in between. So
Yeah.
that's no different with Red, you know?
No. It's kind of like it tells a whole story, which is why I think that in the All Too Well music video, there was a book.
Mhm.
And I think like that just
Mhm.
kind of like encapsulates like Red in general, because it is like it's a story from beginning to end.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then and I love how in Red Taylor's version, All Too Well 10-minute version closes out the album, because it's kind of
Yeah.
like, okay, chapter closed. This is it.
Mhm.
Um and like while we get some like awesome songs thrown in there, I think this is the most vault tracks. Like this one, Red has the most vault tracks so far.
Mhm.
Pretty sure. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, there's 9 vault tracks.
Also, this is a vault track, but can we just like for a second reflect on how sad Ronan is and how like I can't even listen to it without crying.
Did you were you like in the Taylor Swift lore when Ronan died?
No.
So Mama Maya,
Mhm.
who is still like a big significant person in the community and like talks to Taylor,
Mhm.
went to Eras tour. Hello, Binks.
Yeah.
You want to talk about this? But it was honestly really sad. And there's like a
Mhm.
meme that goes around a lot and is kind of like it's like always posted on like the Facebook memes or whatever of like Taylor Swift crying because Travis Kelsey did this.
Yes.
Or like Taylor
Yes.
Swift crying because of this. And it's like
And she's leaving
sh-
the Ronin.
she is leaving
Mhm.
the like where she performed Ronan
Mhm.
for the first time. Like after this kid died of cancer.
Yeah.
That's like the lore behind this song. She like met this kid and this family and like built a relationship with this family.
Mhm.
And sadly Ronan passed away.
Mhm.
And she kind of wrote it from like the mom's perspective.
Mhm.
And that's why that's why she was crying. And like for people to
Mhm.
use that picture in particular, like use another picture of her to make up your bullshit. Don't use that one.
Right.
That one
Yeah.
just seems like really disrespectful to me. Like,
I have seen that because I'm like, why? I don't like you. It's just very disrespectful. Like, why would you use that one?
mhm. But it's also like just stop making up bullshit about her,
Mhm.
and you wouldn't be using a disrespectful picture because you don't know what the hell's
Right.
going on. That picture was from 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Please go away.
And it's very obviously from 12 years ago. Like, she doesn't look
Yeah,
like that anymore. And as she shouldn't, because that was 12 years ago.
she was 22.
Mhm.
That's insane, people.
So,
Ow.
do you, Binks, why are you acting that way? Do you think that Jake Gyllenhaal, not that it's any of our business, but when All Too Well 10-minute version came out, there was all of this like lore on the scarf being her virginity.
Mm. No,
Mhm.
no, I don't think it was a metaphor. I think it was a real item of
Mhm.
clothing.
And here's my thing too, like I kind of got annoyed by that just because it's like, why do we have to assign a reason for there to be significant meaning to her? You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Like, it felt like the people were like, well, it was only 3 or 4 months long, so
Mhm.
this significant thing must have happened for it to be so significant to her. When it
No,
doesn't, sometimes it doesn't have to be years long to be significant.
no. I've had like 3 month long relationships where
Mhm.
sex was not even on the table and
Mhm.
like it was still significant to me
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
it still hurt all the same.
Yeah. So I just feel like that was everybody trying to assign a reason, when really it's nobody else's business
Mhm.
to assign a reason, but also like it's not your freaking business who she lost her virginity to. But
No, it's not anyone's business who she lost her virginity to. It's not anyone's business about her sex life in general. Because at the
mhm.
end of the day, why the fuck does that matter?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like a personal thing. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna
Mhm.
sit up here and be like, yes, this is the first time I had sex, and this is with who, and
Mhm.
then I wrote a whole album about it. No,
Yeah.
it's no
Then
one's
I wrote a
business.
whole album about it. Also, vault track. That's a
Mhm.
banger. Is Babe. I love that song.
Okay, so
That's
I loved Babe,
uh-huh.
with Sugarland and her.
Yeah.
And so on the Reputation Stadium tour, like when they performed it and they
Yeah.
did that at the part that's like, "Hey, hey, hey,
Mhm.
hey,"
Yeah.
and they're like stepping back and they're doing this like
Yes.
cute little dance.
Oh my gosh. I love
It's
it.
so precious. I love
Uh-huh.
it. Also, the music video was so cute.
Mhm.
And Taylor Swift looks so gorgeous as a redhead.
Mhm. Yes. That's like her alter ego because we see her do some
Yeah.
redhead stuff
Mhm.
sometimes.
It was my alter ego too, so I feel that. I was a redhead for 2 years, guys. I loved the music video too. She played the other woman in the music
Mhm,
video,
mhm.
which we have never seen. I don't know, it was kind of like a risque music video too,
Yeah,
that, like, we had never really seen from Tay Tay, and I was like, "Ooh,
yeah.
spicy." Like, the
She was
redhead
kinda
was given.
stepping into
Mhm,
it's very, like, which is where she was in her life, so it makes sense.
mhm,
It's very early 20s.
mhm.
I feel like,
Wait,
obviously, like, Debut and Fearless and Speak Now were very, like, young, and Red is young, but it's like your early 20s, you know?
mhm. Yeah, it is, and, like, I mean, 22 shows that, like, kind of
Mhm,
like, let's just, like, go and have fun with our friends and
mhm.
have the best time ever, just, like, drinking, eating cake, throwing darts at our exes' heads on a
Mhm.
wall, you know? Like,
Just
that's
the
the vibe
casual
that it
thing.
gives me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like, her at the end of that music video, her jumping into the pool, um, fully clothed is just, like, such a
Mhm.
20s thing to do of just,
Yes.
like, "Let's have so much fun." Um,
Mhm.
and Jessica what's her name? Jessica Zor? Something like that. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but she's from Gossip Girl. She's
Mhm.
in the music
Yes.
video because she's friends with Taylor. And
Mhm.
when I saw her in the music video, that was like obviously when Gossip Girl was still on. I was like, Vanessa, what are you doing here, girl?
It's like a crossover. It's like an early 2000s crossover if there ever was one.
Yeah. I mean, and now obviously Taylor's friends with Blake Lively, who is like, you know, obviously the face of Gossip
Serena.
Girl.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's probably who introduced them, maybe,
Mhm.
was was
That could
that
be,
Taylor.
honestly.
Yeah, like, what a time that was, like, that whole, like, Red era and, like, the Red tour,
Mhm.
just, like, remember it being, like, so much fun, like, seeing
Mhm.
how much fun she was having on that tour
Yeah.
and the guests that she was bringing out. That was also, might I add, so she did Everything Has Changed with Ed Sheeran, and that
Mhm.
was, like, kind of like the start of Ed Sheeran's career.
Yeah.
He opened for her, and then they also performed Everything Has Changed, and that's where we kind of see, like, Ed Sheeran start to take off, and thank God for that because, I mean, he's phenomenal, and he's a phenomenal writer, and he does a lot of
Mhm.
songs that you guys would never think about. Ed Sheeran has probably wrote it.
Yeah.
You can go to the writing creds and be like, Ed Sheeran.
Oh, Ed Sheeran wrote this, yeah.
Mhm.
Did you ever see that clip of him surprising Taylor? He came out as a clown.
Oh, yes, yes,
Yeah,
at
and
the
it's,
end
like,
when they
so cute. Yeah.
it is, yeah, they perform We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together at the end, and it's kind of like this whole, like circus type
Mhm.
thing,
Yeah.
and he comes out as a clown in it, yeah. I
Yeah.
remember her and she, like, looks and she, like, does a double take and she
Yeah.
starts laughing.
She's, like, confused as to why he's there.
Yeah, it's so cute. Binks has a lot to say about Ed Sheeran, I guess.
Binks is a big Ed Sheeran fan, we have on authority.
Yeah. Um, also, like, fun fact about Ed Sheeran, so Love and Hate by Kelsey Ballerini. Because I went to it was kind of like the album, like, release party-ish,
Mhm.
back in 2020, before she released the album Kelsey, she
Mhm.
hosted this, like, pop-up fan event that I went to, and that's where I actually got to meet her,
Mhm.
and she kind of, like, broke down the album, like, why she wrote it. We got to listen to a lot of the album, during that, and she talked about Love and Hate, and that's a
Mhm.
song that she wrote with Ed Sheeran, and she said, like, she got on the plane, and she was like, "I need to come up with something, like, really good,"
Mhm.
and she was like, "Okay, I've, like, come up with a chorus, all this stuff." She presents it to Ed Sheeran, and Ed is just like, "That's really good for a first verse," and she was like, "I thought that was the chorus." And she was like, she said that she felt really schooled by Ed Sheeran, but like he was so kind and like they
Mhm.
created this like beautiful song. And if you've ever listened to Love and Hate, like it's
Mhm.
so good.
It is, yeah.
Um, and it's so beautifully written. And like every time I hear the first verse, I'm like, oh, poor Kelsey.
Should have been the chorus.
Yeah, but it is really really good. Yeah, that's just like what I think of when I think of Ed Sheeran too. I'm just like, oh, but it
You know
was
what
like her dream to write with him, and she got to write with him. So,
when I think of Ed Sheeran, I think about that diss track he wrote about Ellie Goulding, basically. Sleeping with Niall Horan.
oh my God, yes,
Because I know every word to that song. And it just like blows my mind that it's about Ellie Goulding and Niall. But it's a banger. It's so
hmm
good.
Taylor has some messy friend groups because she's friends with Ed,
Yeah,
Ellie, and Niall.
yeah,
Like,
she is. Yeah. She's giving very much Britney. Like, this is not my business. So I'm staying out of it.
no, she's like, whoop,
She had
is
her
not
own shit going
happening.
on with Carly, and she
Yeah,
had her own shit going on.
yeah. But also like this is where like this is the era where we start to see a lot of like Taylor Swift's friendships coming out. And
Mm-hmm.
then in 1989 was when like we saw like the big friendships coming out, and like the Bad Blood music video is full of her friends and like just huge celebrities. Meredith Grey and
Mm-hmm.
Olivia Benson are in
Yeah,
the music video.
they are. Yeah.
Zendaya's in the music video, which is so wild to me. We'll talk about 1989 some other time.
I wasn't huge
Mhm,
on 1989 for a long time. Like,
mhm.
I was okay with it. It was fine. You know, I really liked Blank Space and I really liked Out of the Woods, but like I was like,
Yeah.
But then when Taylor's version of 1989 came out, I really like gave it a second chance, and I was like, okay. Then I started listening to like I Know Places, and her vault tracks for that are so good. Listen, I Know Places is so good. The bridge to it,
So, what's your okay? Besides All Too Well,
yeah,
what is your favorite song?
from Red.
hmm
Come Back, Be Here. I think, does that count? It's a vault
Shut
track.
shut the fuck up.
Is that what you were gonna say?
Yes, because I mean it's like the deluxe. It's not like a vault track. It's the deluxe. So like that's been my favorite song for the
Yeah,
year. And like,
yeah.
oh my god, it's so good. And like, it's
It's
so
so
heartbreaking.
good.
It's like
Mm-hmm.
if you've ever been in a long distance relationship, then you know exactly what this feels
Mm-hmm.
like. It's like
Yeah.
I'm just getting to know you. We're just starting out, and
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden like I have to like we have to go our separate ways for a certain amount of time, and like we don't really have a plan of like when we're going to see each other again, but like I know it's going to be amazing when I see you again, but like
Mm-hmm.
why do we have to be doing
Yeah.
this, you know? I love it. I love it. I
Yes.
used to play The Moment I Knew
Mm-hmm.
and have a sad girl moment of like riding in the back of my parents' car, looking out the window, touching the window like I was in a music
Touching the window.
video type thing, because like that is such a fucking heartbreaking song of just
Mm-hmm.
like you're at a party with
Mm-hmm.
all of your friends and you're trying to celebrate your birthday, and then which oops spoiler to the song. um but like you're trying to like celebrate with your friends and have a good time, but all you can think about was this person promised to be here and they're not there, and you're just like what the fuck,
Mm-hmm.
why?
Right.
That was so aggressive, I'm so sorry.
Again, Jake. No.
Yes,
Again, Jake, we're done with you.
we're done. We're done. And I like how she referenced back to that in All Too Well
Mm-hmm.
10-minute version too, because she was
Yeah.
just kind of like it's supposed to be her dad was like it's supposed to be done turning 21 because she was looking at the
Mm-hmm.
door all night trying to see if he will come in, and he never
Mm-hmm.
came in. And I don't know if anyone has ever been in a situation where you knew a relationship was over before it was officially said that it was over, but you
Mm-hmm.
have these like inklings, and then
Mm-hmm.
something happens and you're like, okay, this is the moment that I knew this relationship was over, but I'm still going to be in like denial mode over here for a little bit
Yes.
because I
Yeah.
don't want to feel this yet.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't know if you heard Binks just now. That was the cutest little meow. It was so cute, buddy. It was so cute. Come here. Come here. You want to say hi to the people? Come here. Come say hi to the people. Okay, no. Okay.
I also think 2 honorable mentions for Better Man and Nothing New. Because those
Mm-hmm.
they gut punch me.
Yes. And Nothing New, also because Nothing New is with Phoebe Bridgers, and I absolutely
Mm-hmm.
love Phoebe Bridgers
Yeah.
so much. Homegirl she's one of the like most heartbreaking
Mm-hmm.
writers out there, and
She
like
is.
she knows how to gut punch you, like beautifully gut punch you.
Yeah.
Punch me in the gut, Phoebe Bridgers, please. Um, but anyways, seeing them perform, and I know you got to see this too, but seeing Phoebe and Taylor perform Nothing New together was so significant and
Mm-hmm.
so beautiful. Like, first of all, their voices together, stunning. But also
So good. Yeah.
Phoebe was the first female feature that got their own verse
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in a Taylor Swift song.
Yeah.
Because like, yes, she's had female features before, but they've never, for some reason, have never gotten their own like
Mm-hmm.
verse. Phoebe was the first, and I think it was
Mm-hmm.
well deserved too. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's a perfect song for Phoebe to come in on, because Phoebe, I mean, she's still like an up and coming artist and still kind of like a newer, like the newer person to Taylor Swift. Like Taylor Swift is kind of like the older, more famous
Uh-huh.
person,
Yeah.
and like Phoebe's like the come up that Taylor's talking about in the song. And I think it's like beautiful
Yeah.
that she picked Phoebe.
Yeah. Because the song's all about like, oh,
He's done.
I'm
He's
dead.
done with me. I said,
um
come say hi. Don't shut my computer.
but the song's just about like growing up. And I think
Mhm.
it just I'll probably listen to it on my 30th birthday here in a couple weeks and cry. So that's probably what it'll be.
We'll just cry together.
Yeah. We'll have a cry fest.
So it went
Mm-hmm.
all too well 10-minute version, and then I Bet You Think About Me.
Yeah. I
Because I
like I Bet You
absolutely
Think About
love
Me too.
that.
Yeah,
It's like such a, first of all, it's like a really big country song. I love
it
that.
is. Yeah.
It like takes you back to like her country days, and like
Mm-hmm.
proved like, yeah, she can still do it. She can still do country. The music video is hilarious. I love Kelly Teller and Miles Teller in the music video. They were so cute, so funny.
Mm-hmm.
The behind the scenes of it, phenomenal.
Yeah.
The wardrobe in it, phenomenal. Doesn't surprise me that Blake Lively directed it because the
No.
wardrobe is so amazing.
So phenomenal.
Um,
Yeah.
and like hilarious too. And Blake Lively just is like, and Taylor Swift's thirst trap to Blake Lively on TikTok of her directing the music video. That was so
Yeah.
funny and so cute. It is a stunning song about when you break up with someone, you're going to look for them in a crowd no matter what. And when you
Mm-hmm.
get married to another person, you're probably going to think about that person because they left such a significant stain on your life. So don't fuck people over.
That's the moral of this entire episode is don't fuck people over.
And you won't get a 10-minute song written about you.
Mm-hmm. So
Sorry,
true.
Jake.
Sorry, not sorry.
No, he got his ass kicked by Conor McGregor. So it's fine. It's fine. Sorry to spoil Roadhouse for everyone out there who still hasn't watched it yet, even though I talked about it like a month ago. Just go watch it. Anyways, any more honorable mentions that you can think of?
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
I
Well,
think we encapsulated it.
we'll end with this. Sadie Sink and Dylan O'Brien, phenomenal job
Mm-hmm.
in the music video. And if you haven't watched the All Too Well 10-minute music video, you need to go watch it.
Yes.
It's a short film. It's not a music video. It's a short film.
Yeah.
And it's beautifully done. They do such a good job. It shows all the significant parts of the relationship, the heartbreak, everything. And the fight that's in the like middle of the music video between Dylan O'Brien and Sadie Sink's character is very significant. And like they also improv'd like that whole thing. Like that whole thing is improv.
Which is crazy to me.
Yeah. And also Taylor made this because Dylan O'Brien and Sadie Sink have a significant like age gap. So like Dylan he was like 29 when this music video came out, and Sadie Sink was 20. So like that was the ages of Taylor Swift and Jake Gyllenhaal. So it wanted to show like the significant differences between their ages and how they handle arguments. I guess like sitting at a table with a bunch of people that you don't know, that is your boyfriend's friends, and they're all like 9 years older than you, and you're sitting there kind of like I have no idea what these people are talking about because they are so much older than me.
Right.
And the only person that I know is this person, and this person is ignoring me. So that is like the significance of that. I just wanted to throw that out.
Everybody go watch the short film.
Everybody go watch it. It's amazing. All right. To wrap it up, before, I don't know, we go into this exciting week. Yeah, I have an exciting week. I don't know about you.
She does have an exciting week.
But yeah, so to wrap it all up, everybody go listen to Red. We love that album. And
everybody listen to Red and then let us know what you think.
Yeah. So, intentions for the week. You want to start us out?
Well, we just said what we should probably both stop doing. We should probably stop calling ourselves negative names. So, I'm going to work on self-talk. I know that that's been one of ours before, but you know, we don't need to be hateful to ourselves. Yeah.
Just going to say that's mine too, because I mean, just because I've had a really down week doesn't mean that I can talk negatively about myself. So that's got to stop. That's not setting a good example for clients to talk negative, even though I don't do it in front of clients. But like, just in general, I don't want to feel like a hypocrite going into a session with someone and being like, don't say that about yourself. Be nice to yourself. And then me turn around and be really mean to myself.
Yeah.
And call myself a loser and annoying.
Yeah. A loser.
Whatever, major loser. Anyways, that was ridiculous.
Okay.
Well, hopefully this all recorded, and now my brain is like starting to freak out that it didn't record.
We're going to say that it did. We're going to manifest good things. And then we'll see kind of what album we pick next week to kind of deep dive on.
Yeah, we might do that again. That like shuffle. So we have so much Taylor Swift knowledge. We don't really need to do that much research behind these things.
Yeah, we did no prep.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We'll see y'all next week. Have a good week. Be nice to yourself.
Listen to Taylor.
Listen to Tay Tay. All right. Bye.
All right. Love you. Bye.